Hello and welcome to North 100, a Canadian Highlander podcast. I'm Serge. Joining me today, I have a Jer.
Hello.
An Alex.
Benjamin Wheeler has no brakes.
And a Benjamin Wheeler who apparently has no brakes.
Ben.
Fantastic. I want to remind you that North 100 is brought to you by you over the Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. This is the last episode of 2019. I think it's been a good year for Highlander. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's watched this whole year. Looking forward to a very exciting 2020. So let's start off with the last best card you're not playing of 2019. Don't worry, it'll be back in 2020. And up today we have Jer. Jer, what's your secret tech?
So I'm just stealing a card from Serge here. It's a land. It's banned in standard.
Did you know it's banned in standard?
Yeah. For those of you who didn't figure it out, because there is only one land banned in standard, it's Field of the Dead. It enters the battlefield tapped. It adds only colorless. But whenever Field of the Dead or another land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands with different names, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Now, you might be saying this seems kind of slow, but I'll tell you, the opportunity cost of putting this card in your deck is pretty low in general. Like, not every deck wants it, but in Highlander, the sort of cost of putting this card in mid-range and control decks, like I'm not even talking about lands decks where it's just should 100 be in your deck 100% of the time. But even in mid-range and control decks, this card is quite good and will win you games. The sort of key part of this card is 7 lands with different names, and in Highlander that's easier than in most other formats because you can't play multiple duels. You can only play multiple basics.
Oh man, pack-proofing your deck has never been better.
So I have a couple of questions for you about Field of the Dead.
Yes.
Question number 1, do you think it's a liability to put in monocolor?
It depends entirely on the deck.
All right, fair enough.
Like,
well, we're just thinking,
for example, if you were to make the classic blunder of building big white, you should probably put it in that deck.
Right. Now, next question. In a 2 or 3 color deck, we often talk about non-basic lands being a liability, especially with this not fixing, but those are the decks that are most likely going to enable Field of the Dead faster because you're going to have more different lands. You're not going to run into as many basics with the same names.
Sure.
So 2 color deck, 3 color deck, is it dangerous at 4? Like, where do you think the home is for this card?
So I probably wouldn't play it in most 4 color decks unless you're a landsy type deck. Mm-hmm. Some 3 color decks could maybe play it if you're very slow. But I think 2 color mid range and control is a pretty
the perfect home for
include in general.
Cool.
Seems pretty good in like The Rock.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I even think like blue white control, blue black control.
It's amazing. I was walking to the office today and I was just like, I should be playing more Field of the Dead. We had what a beautiful moment there.
Did you really have that thought?
I honestly did. And what's that stupid new golem? Golos?
Stupid golem? First things first, it's a scout.
Is it?
Yes. It's a scout.
It's not even a construct. It's just a scout.
Golos. Some Premier Lands pilot.
Ooh, that was
I beg your pardon. All right,
Scourge of Vintage Cube, Golos.
Anyways, keep going.
Welcome to the last episode of North 100.
All right. So you said first of all that means you have additional points.
Secondly, why are you smack talking Golos?
No, he's saying he should be playing more of it.
You should be playing. Yeah. Well, then why did you start smack talking it?
Because everybody hates Golos.
Nobody hates Golos.
Everybody hates Golos.
No, everybody
Golos.
hates Field of the Dead.
People hate Field of the Dead. People love Golos.
But now that it's gone, from both Standard and Pioneer, Field's also fine.
I can explain this one.
Okay. What's up, Alex?
Everybody to Serge is himself.
I see a little bit of me in all of you. Oh. How dare you? All right, let's talk about today's theme. Today, we are doing the return of the Brewers Challenge. That's right, North 100's premier game show where one of our co-hosts will challenge all of us to a test of deck brewing might and metal. Here's how it works. Today's host is going to be the wonderful Benjamin Wheeler. Wheeler has prepared lists of 3 cards. One at a time, we must create an archetype using those cards. If a co-host has claimed an archetype, the others cannot reuse it. Points will be awarded. The points don't matter. Miss anything there? Is that pretty clear?
That's about right. I will be putting a little bit of a wheeler flair.
Oh my goodness.
On
All right.
both the...
I got it. Ancient 2 mana.
All right, let's delete that one. So now I've played a lot of Magic in my decade plus with this format. I've played a lot of really bad decks. So that means coming up to me with your bread and butter grandmother's medium red, it's not going to cut it.
Interesting.
You got to get a little spicy. There's going to be a couple of package cards as well. I wanted to, for some of them, I wanted to get cards that all have a general theme, but can go into a variety of different expressions of that theme. And I tried to also pick cards that I think that each and every one of you could put your own little spin on. That said, I want to see some variation here, fellas.
All right.
We're starting off easy, though.
Okay.
Wait, who's up first in round 1?
So I'm going to... Let's start with going Jeremy, Serge, then Alex. And then for number 2, it'll be Serge, Alex, Jeremy, etc.
Okay. Etc.
The first batch, we have Thoughtseize, which is a 1-mana sorcery that says target player reveals their hand. You choose an online card from it. That player discards the card. You lose 2 life. It's a black card. We have Lightning Bolt. I don't know if I need to explain that. It's a red card. And then we have Swords to Plowshares. Another card that I don't know if I need to explain, but it's 1 white, get rid of anything that's a creature. And importantly, it's a white card. So your bundle today is Thoughtseize, Lightning Bolt, and Swords to Plowshares. And a reminder, if you come across piles that are multiple colors, you are not necessarily restricted to build within those colors. So for instance, these colors form the wedge known as Mardu. Don't feel as though you are limited to a Mardu deck. However, if you try to pitch me a mono green deck that splashes all these cards, actually that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
What's
never
up?
mind. Just go for it.
All right. So I saw these cards, and it harkens me back to a deck that I love and only played once, which is pretty classic across my Highlander career. So people often rag on Mardu as a color combination because their spells are the hardest to cast and don't have green. Legitimate. It's often struggles in a long game because it doesn't have blue or green. Also legitimate. But they're really, really good at controlling the board, and they have the best cheap threats. So people have often struggled with Mardu over the years, is all I'm trying to say. But I played a spin on Mardu midrange with a strong life gain theme, and this deck was sweet, and it plays all these cards. So you're playing the base core of Mardu midrange, and instead you're just tweaking the threats a little bit to fit a life gain theme. So you're still playing like Stoneforge, but you're also playing Batterskull in this deck, which is an often overlooked card these days, or not necessarily overlooked, but doesn't see as much play as it used to. And you're playing such hits as Lichia. I can't remember her name, but she's a Tribune of some kind. She costs 7,
Sanguine
8.
Tribune?
Yeah, that's the one.
I'm sorry.
And she gets
7? What?
Well,
What, what is this
She
card?
costs 3.
She costs 3.
All right, we're gonna have to bring this one up because I'm not familiar with Lichia.
Lucia.
Licia.
Is it Li?
I'm pretty sure.
We'll find out. Who gets the first point?
It's I.
Jer.
Okay, I don't get any points.
Well, no, he got
So
Sanguine.
8 mana 4/4.
No, 3 mana 4/4.
Okay, explain.
She costs 1 less to cast for each 1 life you've gained this turn. She has first strike and lifelink, and you can pay 5 life to put 3+1/+1 counters on her. And you can activate this ability only on your turn and only once each turn. So she gets out of hand very, very quickly. And since the deck has so much incidental life gain, you're playing a bunch of lifelink creatures. You're playing a bunch of cards like Jite, Lightning Helix, War Leader's Helix that will just cost reduce her incidentally. And what this spin on the archetype gives you is it really shores up your aggro matchups. because white, red, and black, it sort of allows you to play a greedier mana base, which allows you to actually cast your spells, which I found very, very helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Serge.
Hi. I got 2 words for you. Mardu Aristocrats. Now, the beautiful thing about Mardu and Aristocrats is, from the spells, Pyromancer, Young Peasy, and a token sub-theme, because you have spells in red, white, and black that all create a lot of tokens. Now, also red and white gets you a beautiful little combo that goes great in this Token Aristocrats theme. One is, oh my goodness, what's her name? The enchantment 1/2, the 4 mana 1/2, when it dies, it gets an enchantment.
Academy Rector.
Academy Rector. And in red, you know what's a great enchantment that goes great with tokens?
I don't know.
Perforos.
Okay.
So Perforos is a red god. Whenever a creature comes into play, it has an ETB trigger. So picture Aristocrats, where not only does dying matter, but entering the battlefield matters. So those spells we talked about, Thoughtseize, Lightning Bolt, Swords to Plowshares, are doing double duty. They're great, they're aggressive, they're winning us the game, but they're also creating creatures every time it goes. Those creatures are activating Perforos, and then when they die off our Aristocrats, we're getting more value. This deck snowballs out of control.
Are you playing Saheeli Sublime Artificer?
Which one's that?
1 blue-red hybrid. Whenever you cast it, instant source.
Oh yeah. Another great example. I mean, that's the light blue splash we're talking about. But
Were we?
well, remember how we were talking about you could splash any color you want. You don't have to stay base Mardu.
Serge, look at the mana pips.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Blue splash, love it.
Okay, so Jer is playing to my interest of decks that could definitely win an event. Serge is playing to my love of Mardu Aristocrats and the commander player that I am. And, all right, Alex, what do you got?
5-color 1-drops.
Alex going for the 2009 Brett Frankson special, I see.
You throw in a 5-color mana base so you can play all the sketchy rainbow lands and just every aggressive 1 mana, like 1 CMC creature, and all the best like removal, hand attack, and miscellaneous spells that you can get, all with 1 mana.
Good old Goblin Patrol.
I forgot how good 5-color 1-drop was. I died to
And
that deck more than I'd like to admit.
I mean, if this wasn't
It's
playing to
not
the
good.
judge, you play 22 lands.
That deck was good when we could run like 5 Moxen.
yeah. My favorite.
They're not a
Like,
1-drop.
I remember playing that with you had like 5 Moxen and like Winter Orb, and you're like, oh yeah, these this 1 mana 2/1 that can't block, and if I take any damage I die is great. What an inclusion.
You play Mox Diamond and not enough lands to pitch it, but if you live the dream.
No, that deck did not play Mox Diamond.
Also, is that a personal attack saying I play Mox Diamond and not enough lands?
That's like
Wow.
an epidemic in our format
Okay.
currently.
Well, oh sorry, do you have
Just you get access to like all kinds of amazing 1
Yeah.
mana spells.
What's the worst 1-drop in the deck?
the worst 1-drop? Isamaru? Like okay,
Worst?
If you're that's the
I've
thing.
made my
If-
decision.
If you're in 5 colors, you can have some pretty good 1-drops. Like
The OG played Goblin Patrol.
Goblin Cadets?
Yeah, that one's also
That's
bad.
the worst 1-drop in the game, I think.
All right, can we talk about what that goblin is?
Goblin Cadets? Why? It's a 1 red for a 2/1 Goblin. Whenever Goblin Cadets blocks or becomes blocked, target opponent gains control of it.
so here's the thing. I don't know if you know this, but they've printed a lot of like not awful 1-drops.
Yeah. Goblin Cadets is so infinitely
It's
far.
mostly in white.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe your worst one is like Elite Vanguard or something, like a 2/1 for 1.
Like Savannah Lion, like oof.
Actually, yeah, maybe it's Savannah Lions, like
I've-
2/1 for 1 with no.
I've made my
relevant-
decision.
Okay.
I've made my decision.
All right, let's hear it. And the judge says,
Aside from personal attacks about my Mox Diamond land count, or about calling Isamaru the worst 1-drop in any deck, I do believe that both 5-color 1-drops and Mardu Aristocrats are decks from my history. However, I do believe that Jeremy takes this category by coming up with something that works with all the cards in a variety of ways, and sticks to a theme that is admittedly underexplored. So I'm giving the round to Jeremy.
Boo! I mean, congratulations.
So unsportsmanlike.
Found a home for Lichia
In a competitive format.
in a competitive format.
Round 2.
All right. We're going to rally back here, team.
I'm going to get my hands ready. No, you start from the middle and you go out.
Okay.
There you go. Mana Crypt. A 0-mana artifact that has at the beginning of your upkeep, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, Mana Crypt deals 3 damage to you and taps for 2 colorless mana. Soul Ring. A 1-mana artifact that taps for 2 mana, colorless. And then, all with me now? Ancient Tomb, which is a land that taps to add 2 colorless mana and deals 2 damage to you. We're going to start with Serge for this one. A lot of colorless mana here, Serge. What are you going to do
So
with it?
the problem is I play all these cards. And
Theoretically, that should make it easier.
it does make it
That
easier,
was
but there's
one
so
of the
many
reasons why I included
there's
these
so
kind of
many there's so many
things.
ways I could take this, right? But which way is going to win the judge's heart?
Joke's on you. I don't have a heart.
Ah, very good. All right, I'm going to go with one I haven't played in a while because I think the easy answer is no. I'm not going to give any help to my competitors here. Prison. So
Go on.
nothing makes you happier in a prison and or pox style deck than getting ahead and then discarding your resources. You know what's great to get on turn 1 off of, Ancient Tomb and your other acceleration is something like Smokestacks. You ramp that out, and then you don't care if your Ancient Tomb goes away because the damage is already done. So you are looking for as few mana pips to mana cost as possible, just to really accelerate things out. I'm talking the Abyss. I'm talking Nether Void. Just all these beautiful classic cards. The deck is going to be probably base white, base black. But if we wanted to, you know what else loves a little bit of acceleration? Wildfires. And the classic way to round out this sort of archetype, sure, let's go Mardu. Maybe we could splash blue if we wanted for some of the old bounce planeswalkers, if they do resolve anything. But you want to get planeswalkers out, right? You play 1 or 2 pips. And we're not talking like new modern planeswalkers. No, we want our old 5-mana Gideon Juras.
Gwydion.
You saved yourself there, Serge.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. So there we go.
Okay. Alex,
Mono glass.
go on.
So, I think you lean even further into the making lots of colorless way too quickly. So you get your City of Traders, your Mana Vault, is it?
Yeah.
All that BS. And you use this to power out Eldrazi,
Okay.
among other things.
Okay.
And stuff that Eldrazi like more Eldrazi. This is actually because Battle for Zendikar gave us a lot of Eldrazi creatures that only cast off of colorless mana, as if it was a 6 color, and they're pretty good. And if you're able to hit them consistently, they're real good. I hear Reality Smasher is difficult to deal with.
It's not bad.
Yeah. And if you do that, then you actually get to play what's the Eldrazi land that taps for 2?
Eldrazi Temple.
Eldrazi Temple. So you get to play 3 copies of Ancient Tomb.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
You just get 'em.
I do like pooping out my hand.
You get to play Prismatic Vista into Wastes.
Okay. Well, all right. Okay. That's a little apple on teacher's desk there.
Wow.
Jeremy,
Yes.
what do you got?
All right, so I'm going to give you a preview of a Jer Workshop deck that hasn't seen the light of day until now. All right. Have you heard of the tier 1 powerhouse modern archetype? I'm only half joking. Twiddle Storm.
What the What?
I know Ben's familiar, but I was hoping for more of a reaction from Serge.
I have
personally
I have
disappointed.
not heard of Twiddle Storm. I know the
so-
card Twiddle. An
So-
old classic blue spell. It's like tap or untap target permanent, right?
Yeah.
Or-
Well,
is
it's
it
more
only land
specific.
creature or artifact? Okay.
So this works well with things that generate more than 1 mana, because then you net mana.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like
So
a
you-
very small
so you're
version.
playing things like
yeah.
Ancient Tomb, Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, and to go along with them, you're playing things like Lotus Field, Lotus Veil, Scorched Ruins, Mana Vault,
Okay.
and you're using those to power out X draw spells to draw you more Twiddles, to untap them again.
Okay.
How many Twiddles are there right now?
Oh, so many.
Like, yeah.
So are we count are we,
More than you can play.
Does like rewind count as a Twiddle? Like is Twiddle
No.
just honorary here? Is Turnabout a Twiddle?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, turnabout's
it's like the best Twiddle.
Is this
Fate Stitcher?
Yeah, exactly.
a twiddler?
The Twiddler.
Yeah, Frantic Search is a Twiddle.
Okay.
Oh, all right, we're being generous with the term Twiddle. Okay. Twiddle Storm.
Yeah.
Fire Ice is. No, wait. It only
No.
taps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darn.
No good. No bueno.
Concern it.
While certainly there were submissions this round that had me captivated early on into the explanations, I do believe that the one that hooked me for my degeneracy might shock you. I'm going to give it to Alex for Eldrazi.
Hey.
I'm a sucker for a big dumb Eldrazi. I maybe if there was a Lotus Field in this category, then we could talk Twiddle Storm. Maybe if Serge didn't mention Planeswalkers, we could talk Stacks.
You don't like Planeswalkers and Stacks?
I just don't like Planeswalkers.
Oh, that's what lost it.
I'm going to give it to Alex. Now this is where it starts to get a little bit more. This is the jump off of Easy Street.
Okay.
It's going to be for the first. It's going to be a little. Don't get me wrong. This isn't the most difficult category. However, this is where things start to unwind.
Okay.
The cards are
Yeah.
Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, a 2-mana 2/1 legendary human soldier with first strike that says non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. Thalia, Heretic Cathar, a 3-mana 3/2 human soldier legendary creature with first strike that says creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. And then the Gitrog Monster,
Oh.
a 5-mana 6/6
The third
legendary
Thalia, yeah.
death touch. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice the Gitrog Monster unless you sack a land. You can play additional land on each of your turns, and whenever one or more lands are put into the graveyard from anywhere, draw a card.
I'm
As
so
soon
I
as-
mad.
have one question about this category. Mm-hmm. Which Thalia is in the Gitrog Monster's mouth?
It's like Schrodinger's Thalia.
So as you said the second Thalia, I'm like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna say Gitrog. I was like, no way. And then there it was.
There are your 3 Thalias to choose
oh my
from.
god, I love it.
Alex, you're
yeah.
up first.
I'm so tilted.
I'm so happy.
Like. Wait, it's coming. I think. What's the name for it?
What's it sound like?
Doran and Taxes. Okay, I got a name at least.
Doran
right.
and Taxes is strong.
Well, it's like Abzan mid-range.
Are you playing Doran?
No,
Okay.
not literally Doran.
All right, that makes
But-
more sense. I'm like,
Yeah.
that makes both Thalias significantly worse.
Okay, so the first 2 Thalias tax your opponent's resources, specifically their mana base. And the Gitrog Monster really loves bringing back, like benefiting off of Strip Mine.
Yeah.
So they don't get to play Magic, and you do, because you blew up all their lands, and then you cracked in with First Strike. Get 'em.
So locking down your opponent, drawing some extra cards, and killing them dead.
Yeah, and because we're getting up to at least 5 mana, it's going to be a little more mid-rangey aggro. Because whereas something like Death and Taxes, you would be hitting 3, maybe 4. This is going to be playing a longer game. So you get a lands package in there. It's like maybe this gets in like Tabernacle. Well, no, not Tabernacle. It would get in Rishadan Port, stuff like that.
Okay.
Just run it back.
All right.
Get 'em.
So like Abzan taxes.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Jeremy.
All right. Well, that's kind of similar to my deck in that I also will play white, green, and black cards in it. But I will also play blue and red cards because I'm playing 5-color best creature tribal. The only non-creature spells in the deck will be Collected Company and Aether Vial.
Whoa!
And then we're just going up the curve and finding the best creatures. And the Gitrog monster, you may think, seems odd in this deck. However, to make the 5-color mana base work, you often need to include a couple extra lands, so you're prone to flooding out. And you know what's good when you're flooding out? The Gitrog monster. Sack those extra lands, draw more Ruhans. It's all you ever want in the world.
Beep, beep.
Okay. Are we playing Sisay Weatherlight Captain, the new one in this list by chance?
I don't know.
You could.
Not familiar?
You could.
No.
2 and a white for a 2/2 legendary human soldier. It gets +1/+1 for each other. For each color among other legendary permanency control. And then Wooburg, search your library for a legendary permanent with CMC less than Sisay's power.
We certainly are, and I'll tell you why.
All right.
So, you have Fey Burrow Elder in play.
Okay.
You play Sisay. You activate Sisay with Fey Burrow Elder.
Okay.
You get Najila.
Okay.
You cast Najila, and then you go infinite.
Okay.
Game.
Now the tricky thing here is I still think my deck is valid, even though you helped him out there, because I was going to say 5-color legendary creatures.
Yeah.
And I don't think Jer quite got there, because you know what Thalia, and Thalia all hate? Is Karakas. Unless you play so many legendary creatures, it doesn't matter. And that's the thing. You don't worry about Thalia attacks you non-creature spells because you're all in there, but you are 5-color. You're getting Golos in. Your mana base can support everything.
You get to play Shisa Death Storehouse.
It's perfect. And you just lean into that.
Dominaria Castle.
Dominaria gave you so many resources for legends mattering and benefits and payoffs to that. So you're just 5-color legend tribal.
You get to play Urza's Ruinous Blast as a one-sided board wipe.
Whoa.
Okay. My decision for this round, albeit made quickly, was not one with the intention of making for a tight race in the best TV, but it just coincidentally happened to land that way. I'm giving this to Serge, mostly because I was hoping that this would be brought up. And while I appreciate the direction that Jeremy went, it was lacking this childlike sincerity and this love of Shizo. Never before have I seen someone, because when you pitch Shizo for the best card you're not playing, admittedly, I wasn't committed. I wasn't totally on board with it. But after seeing the passion that you were describing Shizo, I gotta give it to you.
Yep.
Wait, we're all tied up?
Yep. All right.
Wow.
This is where I want y'all to get a little bit deeper and more interesting with not that what you said was not interesting,
Wow,
but
rude.
this is where you can really flex the diversity in the decks that you're pitching while playing to the overlapping themes of the cards. So for bundle number 4, we have Packrat, which is 1 and a black for a star. Packrat's power and toughness are equal number of rats you control. It's also a rat, if that wasn't obvious from the name. And has pay 2 and a black, discard a card, put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of Packrat. Una's Prowler, 1 and a black for a 3/1 flying. Discard a card. Una's Prowler gets -2/-0 until end of turn. Any player may play this ability. And then last, and certainly not least, it's my big boy, Rotting Regisaur. 2 and a black for a 7/6. At the beginning of your upkeep, discard a card. Serge will not be allowed to participate. In this round.
I had such a good deck.
No, you can still pop in. All right, Jeremy.
All right. How do you feel about hybrid aggro combo decks?
Why? That was my thesis.
All right. So aggro combo is probably the least explored and played hybrid combo archetype, like broad archetype. But we're playing mono black aggro reanimator.
Okay.
Oh, baby.
So all these cards have a theme, which is you discard cards. I'm going to expand that to cards that make both players discard cards. We're using fast mana early to try to power out a threat. If at any point it seems like that threat doesn't get there, we have a backup plan of potentially reanimating some of the cards that we've discarded earlier. So we're playing Liliana of the Veil. Finally, she gets a home again. Delirium Skeins. Both players discarding 3. Just playing all the discard outlets we can after having powered out cards like Rotting Regisaur to try to win the game early. And we're reanimating things like Grave Titan, Shieldred, Grizzlebrand, using Lake of the Dead to potentially cast them, Demonic Consultation to sew it all together.
I do like dying to my own demonic consultation. Okay.
It's my favorite pastime.
Serge?
Grixis discard matters. So forget about reanimating anything. The only thing we care about is the act of discarding cards.
Okay.
So we're talking, 2 mana enchantment. Whenever an opponent discards a card, they take 2 damages. 2 versions.
Liliana's Caress.
And
Megrim is 3.
Megrim is the other one. Yeah, there we go. So we've got those 2. We also have old standout enchantment. 2 mana whenever an opponent discards a card, they get a zombie. Waste Not, and the 5 mana creature version.
Bone Miser?
Bone Miser. Now the trouble here is I'm remembering the cards, but I couldn't name the names, so I appreciate you helping me out. But you have an issue if you're just in mono black of what do I do if my opponent doesn't have any more cards to discard? Well, that's why we're splashing for red and blue for all of the Wheel of Fortune effects. Mm-hmm. So you just keep getting more and more gas. Now, Packrat is fine here, and Una's Prowler are fine here. They're actually proactive threats that you can land early because these strategies suffer of needing a little bit of time to get online. But those really aggressive 2-drops, sure, your opponent might discard some cards to deal with Una's Prowler. You get the value from that later on. You can just start fueling things. Packrat, you're discarding your own stuff, but you're going to refill your hand later on, so it doesn't matter. But maybe later on, you get some of the synergy from the discard there.
Okay, and Nekasar is the commander? Alex?
I bet you thought I was going to go Black Mold.
I did.
I'm not. We Rakdos, and the best part about having to pay a cost is when it is not a cost at all, because you get to cast the creature anyway. You're playing unearthed creatures, you're playing red-black spells that like being in the bin. You get to play Claim Fame. You get to play Reckless Charge.
Okay.
You get to play Anger.
Okay.
There's a couple other ones. Like,
Are you playing any Madness cards?
I don't think so. I think that you just care about having stuff in the bin. It's like Rotting Regisaur is a zombie. Shambling Remains is also a zombie. Gravecrawler is a zombie. You know, there's little bits of synergy here and there. Scrap Heap Scrounger coming back. There's a bunch of 1-drops that in some way or another return to the battlefield. So you're paying costs associated with creatures that are a little above the curve and offsetting that by those creatures being castable anyway. Get them.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one.
Walk us through your thoughts here. What did you like? What did you not like?
So, I'm not going to be rude.
Wow.
Serge, while I appreciate the direction that you took with all these cards, and I do believe it's an interesting route to take, having played this deck, and then having lost with this deck for several hours, due to its inability of doing things, I may have to exclude it from contention.
So, can I expand on that point for a second?
Sure.
That is a deck where you're actually really busy doing nothing. Because you do so much in a turn. You're drawing 7, you're discarding cards, they're discarding cards, you're maybe making zombies, and you're like, your turns are really busy, and then it ends, and there's at like 14, and you're like, how? I cast like 40 spells. And you're like, you didn't do anything.
Story of my life. Maybe that's why. Maybe it hits too... It
Too real? It's too real?
Too real for me.
All right.
I'm not vibing enough to get that.
All right.
And then it's... Between Alex and Jer, I like the idea of Mono Black Reanimator. I really do. And aggro combo. Admittedly, one of the things that I thought up with this was Reanimator Stompy, which is a deck that I'm kind of in love with the concept. But I'm also really obsessed with trying to find the best deck that brings creatures back from the graveyard to play at like little to no cost that can't be countered. So basically the suite of creatures with activated abilities that return them from the graveyard to play, such as the Scrap Heap Scrounger and whatnot.
Is this the deck that finally gets to play, oh god, she's from Khans of Tarkir too.
Alicia.
That's the one.
I don't know if it's the deck that plays Alicia, but I do know that it's the deck that wins this round.
Oh.
Alex takes the point.
So, you said real decks weren't going to win.
What? No. I just mean
I've been going deep.
No.
I've been going deep.
You misunderstand. I don't want you to give me like exactly what I would want. Like, don't pander to me, and don't pick like the obvious deck. I want to be inspired by. I want when somebody brings a deck up in this, I want internally to be thinking like,
I want to build that deck.
Oh, I should build this, and we can play this and
all
that.
All right.
And even if it's something where I have played in the past, I want it to be like, oh yeah, I should revisit that. Like, what new cards did this deck get?
Okay, so after 4 rounds, Alex 2, Jer and I 1 each.
Here's where we're coming into the last 3 that we have here.
It's gonna be
or
spicy.
potentially 3.
Yeah, we might only have time for 1 or 2.
Number 5, Flash, which is 1 in a blue instant. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you do, sacrifice it unless you pay its mana cost reduced by up to 2. Notably, 6 points. Spell Seeker, 2 in a blue for a 1/1 human wizard. When it ETBs, you may search your library for an instant or sorcery with converted mana cost 2 or less. Reveal it, put it in your hand, shuffle your library afterward, which is also a point.
How many points is Protein Hulk?
Protein Hulk is 3, which means the last card is Merchant Scroll. 1 in a blue, sorcery. Search your library for a blue instant or interrupt. Why did I read that? Search your library for a flash or force of will. Reveal that card to all players and put it into your hand. So that is 8 points worth of cards, meaning we can't play Protean Hulk, and we got a flash.
Can we bring Flash back up again?
I know what I'm doing for this one.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I have an idea too. Who's up first?
Serge, you're up first.
I'm up first. Great.
If you want, I can...
No. This is fantastic. I have a shell. I don't know what the win con is right now. But we're going for a blink deck. Because you know what's fantastic with Flash? Flash is the ability to put a creature into play for significantly less. Now, downside, it sacrifices. Traditionally in our format, people have used that to flash and sacrifice Protein Hulk so that you can Mulliwer combo people out for 2 at instant speed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the downside, if we don't have enough points to just win on the spot, is what if you just get some sweet value? What if we start playing a lot of high-value ETB creatures, and then when sacrifice happens, do we have... No, this isn't like Evoke. I don't have the opportunity to respond to the sacrifice and then blink it.
No.
We're going to pivot then into, it's still going to be a blink deck, but it's also going to be a reanimator.
A Surge
And it's going to
pivot.
be specifically a reanimator of creatures that have powerful ETB effects. But I don't want to go too big. I don't want to go into like your classic reanimators, like your Ionas and your Grizzle brands. No, we're going to keep it a little bit lower to 6 drops. Things like Titans. So you flash in your Sun Titan. It gets a little bit of value out of it. It dies. Then you cast your Recurring Nightmare. You bring it back, and you get this beautiful engine out of it. Because Sun Titan also lets you get more value out of your Spell Seeker.
Right.
And so when it dies, if you flash that and you get Sun Titan later, and you see this engine that goes up over and over and over, bringing you back these low-cost spells, brings you back your Merchant Scroll. And you can play maybe some light proactive counter spells. You probably want draw spells, removal spells, but that's the heart of the engine here, is ETB triggers, tutors for your spells, generate card advantage, and that sort of loop.
Okay.
So I'm going to call it at Esper, finally. And Momentary Blink is the other key card in the deck.
Okay. Alex.
I'm also going to go with Esper, but it's Esper Curses. So, Spellseeker
Yep.
finds Flash.
Yep.
You flash in Academy Rector or Bitterheart Witch,
Okay. You have my attention.
and you go and get
Sorry.
either...
Let's cover
Yeah,
Bitterheart.
let's talk about Bitterheart
Bitterheart
Witch.
It's
So,
a
Bitterheart Witch is 4 and a black for a 1/2 human shaman with Death Touch. When it dies, you may search your library for a curse card, put it onto the battlefield, attached to target player, then shuffle your library. So you're getting a 3 mana discount on this effect, and this is going to go and get. I'm going to need help with the name. The big white one.
Overwhelming
splendor.
Overwhelming Splendor.
Yep.
Oh,
What about the black
my
one?
God.
I was going to get to that one next.
So what's Overwhelming Splendor, in case
Overwhelming
people aren't
Splendor
familiar with it?
is
Turbo
a
humility.
lot. It's super one-sided humility. It's like, there we go, 6 white, or a curse enchant player. Creatures enchanted player controls lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 1/1. Enchanted player can't activate abilities that aren't mana or loyalty abilities.
You have actually done this to me in a game of
Do you
Highlander
know what-
before.
So there's actually 2 black curses that I can think of that go into this deck. One is it's Cruel Reality.
Yep.
Yep.
That one's pretty severe.
And what's Cruel
The
Reality?
big boom boom.
That's the big boom boom. The Cruel Reality is 5 black. At the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. If they can't, they lose 5 life.
Great.
Turbo
Do you know what
Abyss.
humility effects work really great with?
Curse of Death's
Curse
Hold.
of Death's Hold. So we go to sleep.
And what's Curse of Death Sold?
Curse of Death's Hold is 3 black enchant player. Creatures enchanted player controls gets -1/-1.
This is so impossibly spicy. This
Man.
is so impossibly spicy. All right, I'm gonna concede to Alex.
Oh,
Now hold on. We got a
What-
third
Alright,
horse.
just-
in this
I'm
race.
not.
One last card that is maybe going a little far. It's what's it called? It's 1 and a black enchantment. You can cast creature spells for 2 less, but they get
Heartless summoning.
that's the one. I'm trying to remember what the penalty. Oh, okay, yeah, there we go.
Creatures you control get -1,
No, it's a shame
-1.
that
Spell Seekers at 1/1.
yeah. No, I was gonna say that if Bitterheart Witch and or
Academy Rector are 1/2s.
darn,
Yeah.
I was so close. That would have been totally sick.
All right.
Okay,
Jeremy.
what you got?
All right, I know we said no pandering.
Ooh. All right.
But Ben, can you recall a time that I may have lost a dice roll and you made me play a certain point spread?
Vividly, yes.
Do you remember what that point spread was?
I believe it was Flash, Stoneforge Mystic. Was there a balance in there?
No.
No. Flash, Stoneforge Mystic, Enlightened Tutor, Birthing Pod, I think.
There was no Enlightened Tutor, but there was Birthing Pod.
Okay.
And do you know how many points this suite of cards you gave us was?
8.
Do you know how many points Birthing Pod is now?
2.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you the deck I played. Sand, Stoneforge Mystic plus Spellseeker, which just makes it like infinitely better. So I'm going to play 4-color Dark Bant Flash Pod.
You know, Enlightened Tutor's 0 points now, huh?
Yeah, still doesn't get in the deck.
Yeah.
Holy moly!
How the mighty have fallen. How the
Card
mighty have
is
fallen.
still bad.
Turns out. So you're playing a combo pod deck. You get Ephemerate. You get Neoform. You don't have Time Walk, but you don't need that garbage anyways. Yeah, you pod. You flash. It's great.
It was short and it was sweet, but it was effective. I think I'm going with Jeremy.
Yeah.
I think Alex, you went a little too ham for me.
Yeah, I tried to swag right there at the end, but
yeah,
I don't want to build this.
But I do appreciate the hustle. Now, before we get to round 6, because currently the points are Jeremy 2, Serge 1, Alex 2. If we do not have time for the 7th batch that I have provided, I do have a 1-card question that I
as a
want.
tiebreaker?
Let's do that. I think
Okay,
it'll actually be
okay.
more fun than the 7th batch,
Sounds
and
good.
it's an easy card to find.
Let's do it.
But let's do the 6th batch here.
Okay.
Bazaar of Baghdad, which is a land that does not have mana. It just taps to draw 2 cards, and then you discard 3. Entomb, 1 black, search your library for any card, and put it in your graveyard.
Okay.
And then Cabal Therapy, 1 black, name an online card, target player reveals their hand and discards from it all cards with that name, flashback, sacrifice a creature. Alex?
Dragon Storm.
Beg your pardon. Sorry.
So
I had something in my ear. Maybe I didn't hear you properly.
I don't think I stuttered. Dragon Storm by way of the 3 in a red with Overload.
Mizzix's Mastery.
Mizzix's Mastery. Because you need to get Dragonstorm in your bin to cast it for less. And what better way to do that than with all these discard effects?
Okay.
Yeah.
Cabal Therapy myself. Name Dragon
Storm. That might be the coolest line you can do in this format.
While you're at it and throwing a bunch of...
you enough storm to win.
While you're at it and you're throwing all these dragons in your bin, including like specific dragons, why not go ahead and play, I don't know, Living Death and get the same effect? I'm just going to leave that there.
I need a strong drink and a cool towel.
All right.
Jeremy?
My deck is also dragon based. However, we're only playing 1 dragon. The best dragon.
World George?
Yes.
World George!
World George. World Gorger Dragon. All these cards are just auto includes in World Gorger Reanimator anyhow. This deck is actually just very good. Bazaar is a win con if you're going off with World Gorger Reanimator, allowing you to fill your bin until you hit a win con. Cabal Therapy is good with all the Chungus Woo Spies you have to put in your deck.
Oh, I love me a Woo Spy.
And Entomb is probably the single best card you can put in any Reanimator deck, especially one that needs a specific piece, such as
George.
Tin Fins or World George.
Yep.
See, now I just see the like Chungus Bugs Bunny wearing the Woo Spy outfit being like, bah.
Serge?
I'm kicking it old school, and we're going to go back to green, black Pox. And all the cards here are ways to set up your lock engines. So Bazaar of Baghdad works great with Life from the Loam as a way to... You want Life from the Loam anyways to keep your strip mine lock going. And eventually, once the lock is there, you need a draw engine. So draw 3 lands, Bazaar of Baghdad, draw 2 fresh cards, repitch those ones, or even use the draw off of it in order to dredge Life from the Loam back into your hand. Entomb is the most powerful card in your deck because it's going to get you Life from the Loam into your bin, or perhaps your win con, which is the 5-mana Retrace Golgari card, Worm Harvest, which also synergizes all the lands off your engine that's going there. If you need some early hand attack to protect stuff, Cabal Therapy works great. You can also sack your tokens to it. And I think the pièce de résistance, the way you don't mill yourself and the way you win, is you also have Emrakul and 2 mana green enchantment, Oath of Druids. So that is your clock against faster decks that might play stuff out.
Which Emrakul?
15 mana.
Okay.
Yeah, the Aeons.
The Aeons.
OG Emrakul.
Big Mama.
You're never casting it, and it's also a way to sort of protect yourself until you're milling too far. There are the bad feels if you accidentally dredge Emrakul when you got your lock going on, but that's fine. And this deck has only gotten better with more and more better removal spells being printed.
I didn't intend for this to end in a draw, but realistically, I think that's my favorite suggestion because it also just brings back memories of seeing that deck and playing against that deck and watching people, a young Serge, new to the format, and then immediately buying a Bazaar of Baghdad. And that's a beautiful sight. I mean, the World Gorger Dragon, George is near and dear to my heart. I love that dragon more than most. Alex, your submission was wild. I will certainly play it, but that will either be the best afternoon or the worst afternoon of my life.
Yep. I feel like Serge maybe clinched this one with Worm Harvest.
Yeah,
so I was just like, I lose.
Worm. If Serge had gone, I was waiting for 2 cards, either Worm Harvest or Nether Spirit, and you got the Worm Harvest. So
What if he had said the words Gamekeeper?
then I may have shrieked, taken off all my clothes, and ran around the room.
There's nothing quite like seeing somebody oath into Gamekeeper.
So this leaves us at 2 a pop.
Okay.
This will be the tiebreaker.
Okay.
I'm going to say 1 card. I'm going to give each of you 20 seconds to pitch what this deck will be to me.
Okay.
Canadian Highlander is a singleton format where each deck gets 10 points. The card is Battle of Wits. Jeremy, you may begin.
No.
Wow, I know exactly why you said that.
And Jeremy's got 5 seconds left.
Oh, no.
And
250.
Serge, go.
There was an attempt by Nick Picard to make a Battle of Wits deck back in the day, but that was back when multiple increments of 100 cards doubled the amount of points you had. And at the time, he attempted all of the 2-card combos because you had access to more tutors out of the double thing there. And I don't know if that deck is viable anymore.
5 seconds.
I'm going to go with...
Submit your answer.
What's the 3-color Esper? I'm just going to go with Esper 2-card combos.
Okay. Alex?
Arc Slogger. Arc Slogger likes having more cards to shoot stuff with.
And Alex wins the event. In Arc Slogger, not even close. It's basically a...
So stupid.
It's stupid answer.
it's your second Battle of Wits.
I know.
What?
As soon as you said it.
Congratulations, Alex.
Oh, my
You earned it.
Oh, man. All right. Well, thank you to our host Wheeler there. Let's move on to our powerful Magic story.
Sorry about that tap.
Oh, that's so good. And up today is me. And I want to tell a story about ninjas. And we're not talking about Twitch streamers who don't know how to cut toast. No, we're talking about ninjutsu.
Mixer streamer.
And unfortunately, Jer, this is a story where I kind of dunked on you.
Yep.
So I'm playing Jer recently, and I managed to get out probably the best ninja ever printed, a Fallen Shinobi.
I don't know about that one.
So Fallen Shinobi Ninjutsu's out for 4. It's a 5/4, and when it hits a player, you may exile the top 2 cards of their library, and you can just play those for free. It's absurd. This card is absolutely absurd. And I managed to hit another 5/4, just doesn't really matter. It's a 5/4 from Jer's bin. We passed the turn.
It wasn't wholly irrelevant. It was Sirakon color. Powerful 5/4.
Powerful 5/4.
Powerful 5/4.
So we pass back to Jer. Jer plays out a creature with 4 power. Passes back to me. He's hanging on. I hit him pretty hard, and he's like, this can't be too bad. So what happens? So I think I'm in the tank. And I'm like, you know what? This is fine. And I attack with 2 5/4s. The 5/4 I stole from Jer and the Fallen Shinobi. And I think Jer at this point is going down to 10. I hit him for 5 the previous turn. He's going to go down and kind of grits his teeth, throws his creature under the Fallen Shinobi. He's like, all right, at least I'll trade. He'll hit me for 5. He'll have the only board, which is a 5/4. My board will be empty, but it won't be that bad. But I had another ninja in hand. I had Sakashima, which is the ninja clone.
Sakashima's student.
Sakashima's student, pardon me. So Sakashima's student bounces the 5/4, giving it back to Jer, copies Fallen Shinobi, hitting again, and I flip, I think, Thrun and another just big dumb idiot, and I sell the Fallen Shinobi, and now Jer has no board, and he's just like, well, I guess we'll just end this farce and I'll concede, because
Ouch.
My tone on this card has certainly changed from when we previewed it. I'm still not 100% sold.
the Shinobi?
Yeah.
Shinobi's nuts.
But like it definitely has led to some of the most blowout plays which is saying a lot for cards from 2019.
Yeah.
One of the things I like the most about it is that Highlander players are still like ingrained to like not block. Like I've set up a couple times when I just like chump attacked with a Noble Hierarch, but because they're like, oh, what's the worst that could happen? I'll just take 1. I'm like, no, take 5. Give me your top 2 cards. Thanks for the Glorybringer and the Angrass Rampage. Good night.
Woo! It's like Highlander players never play around combat tricks either, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So combat tricks and ninjutsu. There, you want your 2019 tip of the year? Combat tricks and ninjutsu.
Block.
Berserk a Fallen Shinobi.
Yeah. Well, anyways, friends, that is going to be it for 2019. Thank you so much for listening. We're really excited for the next year. Reminder that this podcast is brought to you by you. We support over at the Patreon at patreon.com/LearningReadyRun. Happy New Year. Have a great holiday. We'll see you in 2020. Bye.